I am fearless, and I truly believe that if I want to do something, I'm going to do it. Like, I've become an actress recently, and I'm like, I'm going to do it because I know if I work hard, I'm going to achieve it. I've had about 6 career pivots, reality TV, scientist, presenter, Pilates instructor. I've done so many different things, but just because I know that I have that self-belief and like fearless aspect to it.
That's very ADHD.
We met through the entrepreneur community, which links us all here.
Mm-hmm.
That ecosystem is full of neurodivergent, like the ADHD people.
I was asked by a GP yesterday in training some GPs, how could you possibly have ADHD if you're successful? So I said, oh, no. Successful but still impaired is really important, that people can see impairment in someone that's successful. You're successful before you had your diagnosis, you're still the same person.
I take it seriously now.
Right.
I'm like, okay, this is a thing, let me work on that.
Wow.
And I think I've actually been a really good friend. In the last 2 months, you should definitely explore it. Like, you might not, but as soon as you do, everything is going to fall into place.
Verity, welcome.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Been looking forward to this.
I know, I'm actually very excited for this conversation.
Goes back to conversations months ago about curious about ADHD, me and you.
Yeah.
And we've actually come through the whole diagnosis together. Right? I said we're about a week apart, which was 2 months ago for clarity.
2 months ago, I got diagnosed because John said, Verity, you have ADHD. I was like, do I? No, I always thought that I might have done ever since this big like revolution of ADHD started going around like social media and stuff and other people talking about it. Then I really thought about it and I thought, yeah, it's time to get diagnosed.
Fair play. And how does it feel now to be in that exclusive club, as it were?
But is it that exclusive? Because I feel like it is a big spectrum and a lot of people have it in some sort of way. I know people who have it a lot worse than me. And I'm like, goodness, you need to like take your meds kind of thing. And then other people where it's like just, a little touch of it. And I think I'm probably somewhere in the middle. But I always thought I had, what's that phrase when you don't feel like you're deserving of it? Imposter syndrome of ADHD. Does that make sense? I didn't feel like I was worthy to have it. Or I didn't think I actually did have it. I thought, no, that's if you're really bad kind of thing. But I definitely have it. Like, everything makes so much more sense now, especially with my friendships, my close friendships, my boyfriend, people who I work with. I think it's good for everyone to know that you have it, so then they can react in a better way when you...
I love the fact that you've not been afraid to... I mean, obviously we knew that before we did it, right? So it wasn't like we were going to get diagnosed and then not say anything about it. You then sort of embrace it. And I think I want to know almost like those first thoughts and maybe those first few days when you say this sort of reflecting and things making sense.
Yeah.
Was there any one thing that really stood out? Was it school time? Was it anything that's sort of more relevant now that stood out?
Yeah, I think definitely going back to school, I was telling you guys earlier, like I always wanted to like achieve the best result possible. And for me to do that, it would be just hours at my desk. And my parents were like, you work so hard. I'm like, I don't think I'm working hard. I'm just doing the work I'm given, but it takes me so much longer because I'm distracted or I'm like, I'm not focusing. So then, first year of uni, I was just in the library the whole time. Everyone else going out partying in the pub. And like, I like socializing, but I was like, no, I just have to stay in the library and get it done, to the fact that people were laughing at me. Like, I was there all hours of the day and got the same outcome as, did well, but the same outcome as everyone else. And I think especially going back to school time, so I went to a grammar school, and I don't think that, they think maybe you're naturally intelligent, but you can do better if someone went in there, like you guys are doing really well, going into schools and, going in and making that diagnosis.
Well, a lot of people, you're of a generation, and please forgive me, but I'm of an older generation, you're of a younger generation. You have a different circle of influence. And that's what's exciting about having you on the program. Now, there'll be a lot of people in that younger generation who are trying to work out if they have ADHD, why have they got the challenges, why have they got the problems. One of the classic young person's observations about themselves when they look back retrospectively is struggling to focus and get the job in front of them done. One of our previous interviewees described it as a paralysis.
Yeah.
When given this, what would things like? What was an exam like for you as a youngster with undiagnosed, untreated ADHD?
Yeah, it would take me a long time. I definitely need extra time because, like, I know I was intelligently smart enough to complete the paper, but reading the question and breaking it down, I'd have to have my highlighter pen and like really go over the key words. And I would never answer the question. I would be answering some other question that I'd like made up from the paper. Or I was telling someone earlier, you know, I was midway through a paper and I'm like, how come I've counted all the bricks on the wall of the exam hall, but I need to be doing the paper? So like mega distracted at anything, which I hated because it's like, no, I want to do really well. So it's like a constant battle for me of doing well, but trying to stay focused.
Back in the day, a patient was on the phone to me in the car one day, and she said, I'm an A grade student in the conversation, but I'm a D or E grade student when it comes to the exams in the same subject. And you describe an intelligence.
Yeah.
But I guess what you're also describing is an inability to capture that in the exam setting.
Yeah. I think exactly. And I think that knowing that now, I know I could have done my potential like 10 times more than I actually did back then, which is kind of sad really, because you know people aren't reaching their potential.
Mm-hmm.
So I think something definitely needs to be done about that.
So you went the academic route, you got your degree, and then actually interesting that there's been quite a few, I guess, pivots for your which I can 100% relate to, right?
Yeah.
But I also think that's a real strength. Like you're not afraid to try new things. You know, the time I've spent getting to know you, you are literally like you take on life. Do you associate a lot of that now with the ADHD? Like sort of happy to be taking risks and that sort of confidence and pushing yourself?
I think is that the same character of having ADHD? Like I am fearless, and I truly believe that if I want to do something, I'm going to do it. Like I've become an actress recently, and I'm like, I'm going to do it because I know if I work hard, I'm going to achieve it. I've had about 6 career pivots, you know, reality TV, scientist, selling TVs, presenter, Pilates instructor. I've done so many different things, but just because I know that I have that self-belief and like fearless aspect to it.
That's very ADHD.
Is it?
Yes. Yeah, that is very ADHD.
Right.
To have those change of direction and to do those things. Absolutely. Yeah. And let's talk about what you do now then, your career now. What have you got on the go? And I'm going to relate that back to is that ADHD? I suspect it will be very characteristic, but it's a positive. We've talked about some impairments in the exams and the learning. Let's talk about the positive. What is it you're up to at the moment?
Yeah, well, it's quite a few things, isn't it?
Surprise me.
So I'll do an acting audition once a week, which takes up actually quite a lot of time. My main thing is I've got a Pilates app. So I have subscribers around the world who I film classes with my app and they join me. I teach really cool events around the world. So like Dubai, Bali, Pilates in the Park, Sky Garden, probably every other week, which is quite a lot to organise an event.
There can be like 30, 40 people at these events. All through you, right?
Yeah, 100 people at a time. And I guess I'm an influencer at the same time. So like content creation, lifestyle.
And you're spending all of that, right? There's no team behind Verity.
No, it's just me. But I think because I did have like a larger business beforehand and working in a bigger team, I actually really struggled. I cannot manage people. Like I know my weaknesses. Because I can barely manage myself. And like timing, I don't like people who can do a 9-to-5 job. I cannot do that because if my mind doesn't want to work then, it is not working. Like I will get a spark of creativity at 9 p.m. and I will work till 4 a.m. But then I obviously will lie in, and because I feel like sleep, you need to sleep, you shouldn't cut on sleep. But I will feel creative and productive when I want to, not when I'm told to. I actually think that's evolution, right? We should do that when we want to, not when we're told to.
It's interesting because should we have to fit in? What are we having to fit into? Or should your lifestyle be more positive if it's fitted around you, around your needs? But you've, I guess not everybody has the positive affirmation and opportunity to be that flexible.
Yeah.
So you talked about, I can't do a 9-to-5 job and I can't manage people. Just let's explore that for a second.
Yeah.
The not doing a 9-to-5 job, that seems quite straightforward from what you said about where your creativity is. When it hits, you've got to deal with it.
Yeah, for sure.
What about people then? Why can't you manage people? Because you're erudite, you're charming, you're a good communicator, you're intelligent, that's been proven. Why can't you manage people?
Am I a good communicator? I'm not sure I'm good at communication.
In what way would you say that then?
I think I've got a lot better recently, but I hate confrontation. I actually don't know that I'm not communicating. And I think that's been quite prevalent in like friendships, relationships, and running a business. So I know I need to work on my communication. I think I just think straight past the communication bit. Like my mind's already ahead. I'm like, oh, I didn't tell you to do that. But I'm aware that I'm not good at it, so I make sure I'm good at it. If that makes sense.
Work harder at it.
Yeah, work harder at it. But yeah, managing other people, it's like I have to do my own thing and then understand their whole lot. I guess it's a selfish quality, to be honest, that I need to, really think about them and their needs and what they need to be doing.
And is that something that the pace, the drive, the energy you're putting into you doesn't make facility for those around you then?
I guess so. There's other people that are amazing at managing other people and they like really love it. And I just can't do it.
So you become an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
Okay. Classic entrepreneur, and the work we're doing with entrepreneurs constantly is sort of saying, I don't fit that mold, so I'm going to go into a different mold and I'm going to create that myself.
Yeah.
And if you were to write a job description for Verity as of today, you wouldn't write the job description because you couldn't, could you?
Yeah.
It wouldn't make sense, would it?
No.
Do you enjoy what you do?
Oh, I absolutely love it. And I would never do anything now that I don't absolutely love and it fulfills me because life is so short. And what I really learned is just because you've been doing something for a long time doesn't mean you have to keep doing it. Mm-hmm. The amount of time, money, energy you put into something, if it's not giving it back to you, give it a good go. But if you don't like it, you don't have to do it anymore. Like you really don't. You can quit whenever you want. And I think that's a big life lesson that I've also learned because I'm like, no, this has to work. Like
there's a lot of people that aren't living their best life. Right? They're doing it through someone else's eyes.
Yeah. And like my best friend, she has a 9-to-5 job. And I'm like, no, you should start your own business. But actually, she loves her 9-to-5 job. She's killing it. That's not the way she's like brained like me. She's good at managing other people. So, there's definitely two types of people.
People's a big connection from our point of view, right? And you've got a sort of really large kind of social network. When you told them all that you were either going through the diagnosis or more importantly, you've got ADHD, what was their reaction?
I think I told my mum. I think she saw, so I tried to get diagnosed by the doctor a few times, but you have to fill out that form, which obviously never got filled out. And I did get sorry, I'm really jumping around here, but I did get a phone call appointment and they were like, no, unless it's really affecting you, you can't get the diagnosis. And then I was like, okay. I was like, no, I actually think it is really affecting me, especially like managing finances and time and you start your own business. Like that does actually affect you. So I think she kind of saw it, but also I think she's got ADHD, so she's like forgot about it kind of thing. But yeah, my best friends were like, yeah, obviously.
That's what I was going at, like no surprise.
Yeah, like.
And you said off camera that, and actually look how we connected and so on. Actually, you gravitate to people with energy, with a certain amount of vibrancy and sort of high output.
Yeah.
And actually, it's probably highly likely that those same friends, whether they're diagnosed or not, they're going, not surprised, they got it themselves.
Yeah, exactly.
That was really powerful what you just said there about, we both smiled at the form. I'm there with you. Admin has probably stopped me doing all sorts of things that I probably should have, if you like.
Yeah.
And then kind of almost the fact that, you had to wait a long, long time, didn't you? Did you say 5 years?
Yeah, it was about 5 years. I was like, I probably should do that. But then I didn't do it. And then my friends were like, no, I've done it and it's really helped me. So yeah, thank you guys for actually getting me through it. And I feel now I really know and I don't have that imposter syndrome about it.
Okay.
That I accept it and I'm really now working hard at the things I know I'm not good at or might affect other people, like friendships. If they're not in my close remit, like I will forget about them, which isn't a good trait.
It's funny, isn't it? Because you just said thank you. And yeah, I acknowledge that. But actually, you've got to thank yourself because you put yourself through that. You drove yourself through it. Something you just said that I don't think gets captured enough is now that you have the affirmed understanding of yourself, you've given yourself license, my words, you put it better, to actually correct the things that you've been struggling with.
Yeah.
It's almost, you acknowledge it now as I can and should because I've got agency, the word we've overused today. I've got legitimacy to be a better friend.
Yeah.
Because you now understand why you weren't a good friend.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
I take it seriously now.
Right.
I'm like, okay, this is a thing. Let me work on that.
Wow.
And I think I've actually been a pretty good friend. in the last 2 months, like I'm really focused on, you know, my close circle for sure. I'm like, I know I need to check in with them because I know that beforehand I probably would have just like forgotten about it.
That's interesting. Because you talk about shame.
Yeah.
And a lot of adults, diagnosed, particularly women, have been masking for years. They've been sort of misunderstood. They've got all sorts of potential trauma or addictions they've got over. And this is particularly people we've spoken here. But this whole shame element doesn't seem to be associated with you at all, which is really refreshing.
Yeah, got no shame, you know.
No, if anything,
That's not true. That's not what we're saying.
There's a role model element to that,
Yes.
which is actually like, you know, it's flipping the narrative that I've certainly been around, and you must have been
for
years.
Yeah,
where
people, well, I think Archie said, I'm not ashamed of having ADHD, but I'm ashamed of some of the things that I've done because of my ADHD.
That is true. I'm definitely ashamed of some of the things I've done.
Because you understand it now.
I'm not ashamed to have it at all, but yeah, of course I am.
Yeah. So there's a generation of people that you're influencing with the Pilates and the clothing and all of the makeup and all of that kind of stuff. But there's a generation of people who are going to be introduced to you through this.
Yeah.
Who are perhaps considering that they might have ADHD.
Yeah.
Let's just explore for another minute how you now feel having that diagnosis as a young person with ADHD. You said you don't feel shame of having ADHD.
No.
And thank goodness for that. What did you, when you went to tell your mum, how did that go?
I don't think I really told her. I think she was like, what's this form? I don't think we've really had a conversation about it because she'd just be like, oh yeah, you probably do. I do too. Like it wouldn't have been a big old like, Mom, I have it. Like she knows I'm chaotic. She knows I'm disorganized. Like she's a little bit, but she's like, oh, I'm not as chaotic as you kind of thing. But there's no like shame around it.
No.
But like going back to people that I'm influencing, I think if you are like me and you feel like the imposter syndrome, like I think I have it, but I don't think I do have it, you should definitely explore it. Like you might not, but as soon as you do, everything is going to fall into place. And as I've said, I'm really working on things I'm bad at, and it's really, really has actually changed my life.
There's things you're working on, me too, right? That are all reflective, perspective, and we're working on ourselves. Where do you stand with medication?
Yeah, so I did part of my degree in Chapel Hill in America. So Adderall, which is one of the things, was going around like anything. And I took one, but all I did was plan our spring break. I was just fixated on giving us the best, spring break ever because I was, working on the wrong thing. Because that was my only really like experience of using it before. But I never thought I was going to be that person like taking meds. And actually, I think I'm a bit embarrassed like telling my mum that I'm taking them. Like they're obviously in my wash bag, but she's going to find them at some point. But I don't know how that conversation would really go down. She'd probably say you don't need them. But my business partner was looking at she's just looking at my phone. And she's like, why have you not saved any of your numbers? I was like, oh yeah, well I sort of save if I can't find, John or whatever. And she's like, I think you should really try taking these medications. So I've been on them for 2 weeks now.
But let's take it one step back because again, young people, how was the assessment process for you? Because again, a young woman, successful, putting yourself through that. I'm hoping the answer encourages other people to go through the actual assessment process. How was that for you?
Well, first it was a 2-hour call and I thought, how am I going to get through that? But then we started and I had this amazing woman who's a babe called Rebecca. I think that's her name, blonde. And she was so calming and she was lovely and we connected because she has ADHD and it was like a therapy session, really. And everything just started making sense. And then one of the things she said is like, are you messy? I was like, well, I don't think I'm messy, but my boyfriend says I create a lot of piles. So you're always making a pile of things. And I'm like, to me, that's tidy. And she was like, there's piles everywhere. He's like, here he goes again. But she said, I'm making piles because I know, and then remembering where things are in that pile.
Organized chaos.
Yeah, to me, it's organized.
Yeah.
So that a lot of things just really made sense from my conversation with her that I didn't know was related to having ADHD.
So to just unpick that for a second, because I think it is important for people listening. Yes, the concept of a long conversation for someone with ADHD, getting, wow, how can I hold it together? But am I right in thinking then, the way you put it, that it didn't feel like a long drawn out
No,
conversation.
it was actually really enjoyable because you're learning about yourself. It's like a selfish 2 hours. It is therapy. Like, you're talking about yourself and, you know, how different problems you can fix and stuff. And the fact that she also had ADHD really helped too.
Sense of empathy
What
from your clinician to you,
Um,
understanding.
a little bit, yeah, understanding for sure. But I'm not the kind of person who looks for like that empathy and I'm not like to play the victim at all. So I didn't really need that. But I guess some people probably would need that sense of like, okay.
And the process having, in our clinical world, the process has a beginning, a middle, and an end, and a lot of structure to it. But I'm sensing you didn't find any fearful structure that would put you off that process.
Not at all. It was easy. Booked in, had a call, had a chat, we're off. Like, it was very smooth.
It is important, and I think it's a really strong message. You know, we have a different message in every interview that we do on this series, and we've never had somebody in your position who's so fresh through it that can actually articulate it in a way that encourages people, because surely the core goal here is if people need help, we get them the help. And if they're going to be frightened of getting that help, let's remove that fear. Let's actually harness it. And a crusty old 61-year-old man telling people not to fear it is not worth no weight at all. But you've got a target audience that's completely different, and we should harness that. You've been through it.
Yeah, and parallel literally the same time. And I think that we met through the entrepreneur community, which links us all here. Mm-hmm. And looking back into that, you know, that clearly is, that ecosystem is full of neurodivergent, like ADHD people. Do you recognize that now even more? Because if you think about how we all gravitate in that sort of like-minded, there's that vibe, if you like, and that high output. You know, I know really do. It's almost confirming that just almost all that community is like the ADHD, and it's quite a statement. But I just think to be able to take those risks, to be able to pivot, to not necessarily need or want to conform, you know, and that's how this started.
And I think there's also when the demonstration of a person's ADHD can be harnessed positively, the energy you have, the energy you both have, can bring and will bring and does bring other people with you. For a lot of people, their ADHD is not yet well enough understood within them for it to be that positive, and there's a lot of struggle, impairment, challenge from just being who they are without that help and support. And I think one of the things we get is a gearbox change when we get the assessment. You've articulated what it means to you and the understanding of yourself, and the inner chimp's got quietened down. And a lot of people aren't in that first off, aren't in that positive space. So I think we have a job, a role to show what you can get to outside that negative space.
And I think what I've really done is I started like self-editing a little bit. I've gone, okay, stop interrupting. You don't have to fill the silences. You can just listen for a bit and then they can say the next point. Wow. That's what I'm trying to do.
Russ Barkley talks about think, pause, act. And that was something that I learned very on work. He's one of the greatest researchers of ADHD. And people with ADHD do not typically think, pause, act. They think and act. Or actually, they just act.
They just speak.
Yeah. And what you've just said, that self-editing, I've never heard that expression before.
Yeah.
Self-editing is you yanking your own handbrake, isn't it? It's giving you that
self-awareness.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's a journey, guys. We just started.
Yeah.
Are you writing it down? Are you almost like journaling this?
I'm not a journaler, guys. I'm not a reader. I'm not a journaler. I've got notes.
A lot in here.
No, my notes is like crazy.
But you're documenting it now and here, and I think that becomes a document of record.
Maybe I should document it, actually.
Yeah, you should, because again, the youthful element, the female element, the successful but still impaired is really important, that people can see impairment in someone that's successful, and now where can you get to next? And I was asked by a GP yesterday in training some GPs, how could you possibly have ADHD if you're successful? Because surely by the definition of ADHD is you could never be successful. I said, oh, no.
Actually, yeah, that's a good point. Like, I think especially if you're raising investment or you're trying to get someone to work for you, or you're pitching a big thing, to then say like, I have ADHD, sometimes my organization is terrible. Like sometimes I'm going to miss big things. you don't necessarily want to say that
And
because
that's
it's
the
a
narrative.
weakness.
That's the narrative we have to change, isn't it? But and we're working on people understanding it and accepting it more. But to answer that GP's question, you're successful. You were successful before you had your diagnosis. You're still the same person. But the hope is you'll have to work less hard to be as successful.
Yeah.
And or you'll work less hard at yourself and become more successful because you've not got those inner challenges
Yeah.
which were holding you back or making life harder.
Yeah, definitely.
And I think that's a really important element. You can be successful and have ADHD. I think you both are.
Well,
And
look
here
at
you are.
we just talked about the entrepreneur group. You know, I mean, if you take someone like Richard Branson, or sort of perhaps more relevant right now, Simon Squibb, they're all ADHD. You know, these guys, these women that are killing are high functioning, high output, hyper focus. So I think that success narrative, that conversation that you had really kind of bothers me, because there's children potentially being diagnosed. And I think this is really relevant to you being a role model here.
Yeah.
Children that are being diagnosed, instantly they feel different. Now it's like I wasn't how I was an hour ago when before someone told me I have ADHD. And then perhaps how the parents or teachers or people around them react, where they turn around and say, oh, well, I'm sure you can still do things and achieve things and maybe be successful. That's the narrative that needs to change. And I think that's what joins us all together.
There's even a stage beyond that, I think, and that is, right, we now understand that, so we will be more successful. We will go forward. We will harness it. Not if I dare replace some of those words, but you still can be. It's you will be. We will be. We understand this more. And that's back to your point. The first thing that happens to you is understanding yourself more. We've got to round out this in a minute, sadly. There's going to be a lot of young people, male and female, watching this. What would be your take-home message to give them?
I think if you have an inkling that you might have it, you have to explore it. If you've tried the GP and there's a big waiting list and they've said no, or you tried to fill out the form 2 years ago, you gotta go and find you guys and get diagnosed, because it's going to be so unbelievably life-changing that it is worth every single penny. It's worth the energy. You just got to do it.
Wow. There's no stronger message to finish on than you've just got to do it, really, is there? What would you...
Like a Nike of ADHD.
Yeah, just do it. And
get on with it.
You've got that mindset.
But also you have to prioritize it, because I'd put it back, like in my to-do list, it would just be at the back. No. If you bring that to the front, then you're going to do your whole to-do list.
Because I can tell you're working with it now. You're embracing it. And even I can. That output you're clearly getting, you're already doing so much, achieving so much.
Yeah.
Now you're going to be even more formidable.
I know.
Yeah.
Watch the space, guys.
Absolutely.
It's taken a while to get to meet you. We kept on missing each other at events and things. I'm absolutely delighted that we've had the opportunity to talk through.
Guys.
No, I am genuinely. And I think as an advocate for young people who are neurodivergent, but you have got a role. There is a need for young people who are out there, who have something to offer, to stand up and be counted. And you should be. And I hope you are very, very proud you're one of those people standing up and being counted, because I think people will follow that.
Yeah.
No, I've been looking forward to today. And also just to have that conversation, because we've not actually caught up since being diagnosed. So this was our sort of almost doing it in real time.
Yeah.
Just sort of understanding, evaluating and thinking forwards.
Exactly.
Brilliant. Thank you.
Thank you, Verity.
Guys.